Deus Ex: Mankind Divided is an RPG currently free from Prime Gaming via the good old game store until the 4th of September 2024. It's the 6th game in the series, which I've heard a lot about but never played before. This will be the first one, and I've got a few thoughts on it. Since I've not played the previous games, I took the option the game gave me at the beginning to watch the Previously On trailer, which clocks in at 12 minutes. This wasn't as helpful as I'd hoped. There's so many names and so many events that get thrown at you so quickly, I didn't retain any information bar 2 facts. 1, there are people with augmentations that enhance your abilities, and there's tension between augmented people and non-augmented people. 2, I play Adam Jensen, some kind of covert augmented operative. That was more than enough though. There's good world building in this game, and I actually felt like I knew what was happening, what I was trying to achieve, and pretty much why while I was playing. Before I talk about gameplay and graphics and whatnot, I have to comment on the unfinished nature of the game. There were a lot of issues with it, some that were pretty minor really. For example, the sound mixing. At the start of the game, the music was so loud that I couldn't hear some of the dialogue.
We are all in this for the long game, after all.
That's never changed.
You think so?
Might just be my ears, but I think it was just not well mixed. Other issues are a bit more irritating. For example, after a reload, sometimes my character's walking speed was really slow. Slower than crouched movement speed is, like half that speed. I needed to close the game and reopen to fix it. Sneaking up to an enemy at a snail's pace doesn't really work out. They tend to turn around before you get there. Other bugs are even worse though. A cutscene played when I was escaping on a helicopter. No spoilers here. After that cutscene finished, the game froze on the loading screen. Reloading it and playing through that part again just stopped every single time. I had to check online and I found that the fix was to set the game to only use one GPU rather than all available ones via Task Manager by set affinity, all of which I'm showing in the background now. Obviously setting it to one CPU instead of 4 made the cutscene run really slow and choppy and it looked terrible, but at least the next one loaded and I could save the game and carry on playing. In the about 25 hours that I played, the game stopped working maybe 6 or 7 times. You know what, that's too many. It's a real shame because the game is good. It looks decent. It's not photorealistic or anything. It's 8 years old at this point, but it conveys a feeling of being in this world well enough for me to be immersed in it and want to explore it, which is what the graphics are there to do. There are some really nice touches. I like the advert for some sort of farm appeal exploding out of the subway system. Also like the way the city is divided up between augmented and non-augmented people. That's great visual storytelling. Sneaking through the city at night when it's on lockdown, illuminated by flashing police lights and searching drones, sets a very tense scene. It's really good, as are the sound effects. The cities you visit sound alive. Gunshots sound harsh and loud. I actually jumped when a random thug decided to randomly start shooting up a bookshop as I was sneaking around. This is a very well crafted world, as you'd expect of a game series that, by the point this game came out, had been going for more than a decade. The voice acting at the start of the game had me a bit worried. Jensen sounds appropriately gruff, but a couple of characters were just plain bad.
With heavy-duty industrial rigs. So when the incident hit and they all went schizo.
Fortunately, this does seem confined to the beginning. I don't remember any other voice acting standing out as especially bad throughout the rest of the game. The gameplay reminds me of the Dishonored series, which, yes, I know came out after Deus Ex, but that's the one I played first and enjoyed. So I'm complimenting Deus Ex really. Similar to Dishonored, you can choose to play stealthy, go in all guns blazing, or mix of the two. There's always a way to achieve what you need to achieve using either method, which is refreshing. The final part of the game is a boss battle, and I was very pleased to discover after a fair few reloads and testing that I could use my sneak skills, because obviously I went the stealth route, I always do. I could use those skills to defeat the boss. I didn't need to directly engage in a firefight that I was not spec'd out for. I noticed on standard difficulty that enemies can kill you very quickly, or at least a stealthy little guy like me can be killed very quickly. If you wanted to go through the confrontation route, you do need to spec into those options that give you enhanced armour and in a bigger health pool. I can't comment too much on the shooting because I really didn't do that much of it. Like, I chose to knock people out all quiet, like stealth, you know. The shooting I did do seemed fine to me. There was a noticeable upward creep when using fully automatic weapons that can be reduced via the skill tree. And there's a shooting range tutorial that explains the different ammo types, weapon mods, and what is best to use against different types of enemies. The shooting felt fine. I could be decently accurate there. I can tell you about the stealth options though. There's options to become completely invisible, remotely hack stuff to turn off drones and turrets temporarily, which in conjunction with improved jumping and advanced hacking, which is not strictly speaking stealth skills, made me feel extremely powerful. I could invisibly sneak past the guards into a building, hack my way into a security room, knock the guard out and turn off all the security cameras, then just go around knocking out all the guards until I had the place to myself. Felt very badass, in a quiet way. As with this type of game, you have a health bar, but you have an energy bar that is a little bit different from the norm. This one doesn't fully regenerate when you use it up to perform your snazzy skills. Instead, there's a recharge to limit, like an old phone that no matter how much you recharge it, only really ever gets to 60%. This does mean that you always have some available without needing to use a consumable to top your energy up. You can improve that limit and your overall capacity if you spec into those skills in the skill menu. And I kind of recommend doing it early on. It was actually a big limiting factor for me because even non-lethal takedowns use up your energy. And I often found myself sneaking up to someone ready to knock them out only to find I didn't have enough energy and they turned around and shot me in the face, which I didn't like. I did sometimes find that my recharge limit dropped way down to like the beginning level even though I'd upgraded it substantially. I needed to restart the game, not just reload it to fix it. Such a buggy game. Inventory space is a thing, which I found a bit annoying until I realised that I didn't actually need guns with my stealth build, so I didn't really feel the need to upgrade it in the skill tree. I kept a couple of guns, but basically just used my silenced pistol, and I rarely threw any grenades. In fact, I didn't need much beyond pills to heal, bio cells to refresh my energy meter, and a bit of hacking software. Talking about hacking, that's a sub-game that took a bit of getting used to for me. When you try to hack into something, you go into cyberspace or whatever they call it here, and get presented with a bunch of nodes. Starting from your entry point, the blue one, you need to capture connected nodes until you have captured however many green nodes there are, or you capture the red sentry nodes, which are what tried to stop you. When you capture each node, it shows a chance to alert the sentry nodes. If they're alerted, it starts a countdown, after which the device will lock for a while. A number's assigned to each node, which is just how hard it is to hack, how long it'll take. And you can fortify nodes if you've captured them, which will make that countdown longer. You can use software to just instantly capture a node or pause the countdown. But for me, I just grabbed the critical path to the green nodes, then tried to capture the others, because you might get some money out of it. But when the countdown started, I got the green nodes. If I was having trouble, I paused or tried again. It did actually take me a while to realise you could capture multiple nodes at a time, which was a bit of a game changer because it makes things a lot easier. If all of that sounds like you just don't want to do that, that's fine. You just need to do a bit of exploring instead, because all of these places can be accessed, especially if they're important places, part of the plots, without hacking. There's documents, or personal secretaries they're called, which if you read in the journal will give you passwords or passcodes to those locks. Alternatively, there might just be a breakable wall you can smash through, or an air vent that you use to get in. The game gives you options. You do get to craft things. You pick up crafting supplies, which you can use to upgrade your weapons if you found ones that you want, and I do recommend finding 1 or 2 specific weapons that work for you, upgrading those, getting the ammo for them, and just ignoring everything else. Inventory space is too limited. I didn't delve into the crafting system that much. I upgraded my pistol, I made a couple of bio cells to regenerate my energy. I didn't bother with much more, but it's there if you really want to tinker with it. I also didn't use money much. I found a lot, but I didn't really spend too much of it. There's a couple of shops at points, but I didn't find them particularly easy to get back to. And once I'd bought a couple of things like a silencer for my pistol, I didn't really care. Maybe going back on New Game Plus is what it's really there for. The story isn't anything out of the ordinary for this type of a game, but I did enjoy it. I found it pretty well told, pretty engaging. It has actual characters in it that you can dislike or get attached to, and there is an element of your choices meaning something. The choices in the dialogue tree absolutely do matter to the specific outcome and the reporting that comes out afterwards about it, though I don't know how much it impacts the overall story. You do get to accept or decline side quests, and I accepted all of the ones that turned up for me, and I'm glad I did. They're all worth doing. They're all solid sub-stories. There's no fetch quest type stuff. I thought I did a reasonable amount of exploring, but apparently I didn't do enough. I've got that 25 hours logged, which probably amounts to 23 hours of actual play, accounting for leaving the game running or replaying a bit after a crash. But I've only got 25% of the achievements, so I've obviously missed a fair bit. There are a ton of collectibles that I just wasn't that bothered about, but for completionists, I reckon there's a good 40 hours in this if you really want to do everything. There is a New Game Plus available after you've completed the game, so you can just mainline the story if you really want to on your first playthrough, and then start the New Game Plus with all of your upgraded skills, all of the gear and upgraded gear you've got, all the money you've found for a fresh playthrough. I played it about half an hour into the New Game Plus. I just wanted to see whether all of your skills are kept after a plot point that takes them away. They are. And it gave me a bunch more skill points, or praxis as they call them, where I was not too far away from maxing the entire skill tree out. It's nice because as a stealth character I now had access to a lot of the fighting skills, so if I wanted to I could play the game completely differently. This is a tough game to wholeheartedly recommend due to the bugs. I'm glad I pushed through the issues and finished the game, because I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad that the CPU affinity fix worked, because otherwise my game was over. It's a great game,
Roger that.
covered in bugs. If you can brush your bugs off, this is a fun, engaging RPG that does give you real options to play how you want to play. But if you look at a game covered in bugs and go, that's gross, I can't really blame you. Okay. I'm done with being Adam Jensen and talking like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.